Hey everyone, it's Cheryl from Teaching 2 and 3-year-olds. We have had so much fun during the month of April discovering spring, especially bugs and butterflies, and now we're moving into gardening. So some of our bugs and butterfly activities we'll still be doing while adding some gardening. And if you haven't seen my previous 2 videos where I show more detail of what we did for our bugs and butterflies theme, make sure to check those out. Our caterpillars are now going into the chrysalis stage. We're going to be moving these into our big butterfly garden so that when they do come out, they can fly around before we release them outside. This is always a highlight to our spring activities. And then I thought I'd just show you a few more things that we did. I talked last week about bug painting. We had different size bugs, and so this one here is an example of using a smaller bug. They dipped it into the paint and then they made it walk across their paper. Then I decided to give them some larger bugs, and what they wanted to do with them was actually paint the bug. And so it became like a 3-dimensional activity for them. And if they wanted, they could then also make tracks. But a lot of them really just enjoyed painting the bug itself. So that was a fun activity. So if you haven't done your bug activities yet, I highly suggest this one. And another activity that we got started that actually has to do with our gardening thing that's coming up, we're making these paper plate flowers. And what I did was I took a paper plate, then I took a white baking cup and I put it in the middle, and then I stuck a condiment cup inside that. Now you don't have to have the condiment cup, you could just use the baking liner here. But I thought that was really cute for them because we started talking about flowers last week. I have my flowers here that we have been looking at. We're watching them open when we're outside. So that was a lot of fun for us when then it was time for us to paint them. I gave them the bright fluorescent paint because I've mentioned in a previous video that I'm really liking the bright paint because it just shows up a lot more. And so first they painted around their paper plate, and of course they all had to paint inside the cup in the center. And then I gave them the same size jumbo, the 8-inch jumbo popsicle stick that I use for my props. I gave them these to paint. So they painted those, and then we stuck some little leaves on it. I attached it to the paper plate. I did cut out around the paper plate. If your children are a little bit older and they have good cutting skills, they can cut around it. But I just wanted to show you how cute these came out. Now you know that I really am not really into crafty things because I want it to be as much of the children's work as possible. There was so much process going on here with all the painting, and so this will look really cute on our wall. So this is something that we'll finish these up next week, and that's definitely part of our gardening theme. As for actually what we're going to be doing for our gardening theme, as you all know by now, I always like to start with my books. We're going to be reading this What Happens Next, and this is by Toddler. This is a series I just love. I found this series actually when I was doing virtual teaching, and I love the little tabs on the side. And I love that they use real photos and they just go step by step about planting a seed. What happens next? And then shows it keeps saying what happens next as they take care of it and it grows. And we are also going to be reading the book The Little Gardener and My Garden, and also Lola Plants a Garden. So these are some of the books, and of course we also will be having books that are in our reading area that the children can sit and look at those books anytime during our center's time. So we have more over there as well. Once I get our books picked out, then I start my song playlist. So I have my spring playlist. I'll drop a link in this video's description. And when I look at this, this is kind of how I start thinking about the props I'm going to use. I'm going to show you that in a moment. I'm also going to put our Bugs and Butterflies playlist in here as well because, like I said, we're still doing some of that, and so I thought I'd put that there. So like I said, once I get my songs and books planned, then I start thinking about my props, and you all know how much I love to make printable props, and I created these solid colored flowers, different colors, and then I also have them numbered from 1 to 10 so that you can use these, you can make these into props for them to hold, and this is leftover. This is the idea that I started when we did virtual teaching, and I loved it so much then, and now we do it in the classroom, and the children are used to having their own prop to hold, so they're going to have their own flower to hold. And I also like to use our cookie sheet as a place to display our props using little magnetic dots. So I did that with the flowers, the numbered ones. I laminated them and I put the little magnetic dots on the back, and we have them on our cookie sheet. And then the children actually have enjoyed using this during our centers time. I have this on a little shelf, and they like to go over and take them off and put them back on. But I also like to use these when we're using songs that involve counting, even books that involve counting. So that's another way that you can use this prop as well. And then another thing that I thought of is you don't always have to have these type of props. You know, I talked about how I've used stickers as well that I've put on popsicle sticks. I just stuck them right on top. You also can use objects, and there are some fun caterpillar songs that we have been singing, and so I got enough little pretend caterpillars, and each of the children can hold them while we sing these caterpillars. I got these ones off of Amazon. I'll drop them in the description, the link in the description if you're interested. So props can be something they can hold, props can be something that's on the magnetic board, props can be something that's on the floor that they're matching. You can be using real objects such as these caterpillars. There's lots of different ways that you can have visuals during your circle time that make it way more engaging with the children, and you know that I'm all about that. Some other printables that we are going to be using for our gardening theme come from my spring printable packet that is on Teachers Pay Teachers. I shared this in my previous video. I'll share it again. There are several different activities for the children that include bugs and butterflies and spring, a lot of spring counting in this packet, including the spring flip cards. So what they do is you actually, after you print them and cut them out, you fold them over and you attach them to the same jumbo craft stick that I'm using with my props. And then one side they count the seeds, and then you turn it over and they can see the number. So these go up to 10. So this is just one of the several different activities that are in that spring learning packet. Again, I'll drop a link in the video's description. Another activity, and actually this is the highlight activity for our gardening theme, is planting sunflower seeds. I do this every single year, and I always plant the same thing because we've had such success with it. It's going to be mammoth sunflowers. And so first we read about sunflowers, and then I show them the seeds, and I show them the picture, and then I have each cup labeled. I like to use the clear cups, so if they can see any roots, there's a little see-through area there. I also have these little labels that says this sunflower was planted by, and then I write the child's name. This is a free printable that I have on my website. I'll drop a link in the video description. And actually all the links that I'm going to be that I'm using today, I'll have them all on one resource page. So actually I'm going to drop a link to that page, and then you can get everything, you can see everything here that I'm mentioning, including these labels. So they're going to fill these cups with soil. So probably 2 or 3 seeds, we'll poke holes and put them in. They cover it up. They give it water, and then a little secret that I found that really works is then you cover the whole tray with saran wrap, plastic wrap, and it kind of acts as a little greenhouse. And we just open up the saran wrap to spray them each day, give them a little moisture, and the children help me with that. We cover it up again until they start to grow. Then we remove it, and then they start getting taller, and then I send them home. And usually they can take them home within a week. I often am asked what seeds I like that grow quickly. These mammoth sunflower seeds are definitely what we love to plant year after year. So this is going to be the highlight activity of these next 2 weeks. And then also we will be doing our Mother's Day gift. Now, I always like to get a little head start on this. I'm one of those, I don't like to wait till the last minute. I want to make sure that we get these done so that that way they can dry and we can wrap them up. These are canvas flower shapes, and this is the same activity that I did a couple of years ago. So this will be on that resource page I mentioned, the link to this. But basically what they do is they paint these flowers with tempera paint. I like to use, again, nice, vibrant, bright paint. Then I take their photo. We usually do it outside in front of the flowers. I cut it into a circle and it goes in the middle. And then I have a little Happy Mother's Day on the back with their name and the year, and I put a magnetic strip on the back, and it's a little fridge magnet. So easy. And I try so hard to find something that still isn't too crafty. It's kind of open-ended, and this activity definitely is that. So that is something that we're going to be doing as well. And let's see, I'm looking at my different trays of things here. I also have all these different foam flowers that I got off Amazon. There's a lot that comes in this package. And so I'm just gonna let them do what they want with them. I'm gonna give them some glue, and they can glue these onto paper. Another thing that I have are these flower-shaped cookie cutters. So I'm going to put trays of paint out, and they can just take the flower, they can stamp it into paint, and then they can just they can stamp on the paper. And I might actually use this for making the bags, the gift bags that the magnetic flowers are going to go in. I like the children to make their own gift bags, so this would be really cute to stamp these on since it's a flower like the magnet. And then I also have a Mother's Day card template. I'll drop a link to that in the resource page as well that you're welcome to use. One more thing I'm seeing here, a couple more printables. We're going to be doing the My Flower counting book, and this is a free printable that's on the website. The link will be on the resource page. For this age group, since this is 2 and young 3-year-olds, I'm only going to go up to 5, but you can go up to 10. And it's just 1 flower, 2 flowers, 3 flowers, so on, and they can just count them and they can color them, and then the name goes here. So this is going to be a little personal book that they can color and they can take home. And over at the writing table, we will also have our spring color pages, especially our F is for flower page. And then I have this flower printable where you can use your geometric little blocks and you can put them on. There's colors so that if you have these specific colors, you can use it. I also offer a black and white so they could use any colors that they want. So this is all the stuff that we are going to be doing in the next 2 weeks. And if you are looking for some more ideas, of course, I helped put together this preschool lesson plan packet for flowers and trees. I helped create it with some other educators and homeschoolers, and I'll drop a link to this in that resource page. But if you're looking for some help in planning your gardening theme, you might want to take a look at this as well. And also don't forget, we're also going into Earth Day. So a lot of this we can be talking about nature and outside and how we take care of our earth and how we do recycling. So that's all something you can tie into the next 2 weeks as well. So now I'm just going to take you through a short little tour of what our classroom looks like for our gardening theme. Keep in mind that I will be tweaking things a little bit as I see how the children are using the materials. Over on our easel, we will be painting with pretend flowers. So I will have a sheet of paper on the easel, and then we will have stems of pretend flowers that they can dip into paint and then press onto the easel. On our light table, I decided to make it a sensory activity, a sense of touch. So I put sticky paper, sticky side up, I taped it to the light table, and then I have those foam flowers that I shared earlier. They can stick those on and take them off. We have actually two different science areas. So one area will be where we will be keeping the seeds that we will be planting and taking care of. And it also there's a model that shows the life cycle of a seed and how it grows. And then our other science area will have pretend worms and books about worms, and they can pick up the worms using tweezers. So this is a fun fine motor activity. And then in our black area, we will have Duplos, just because the children have loved building, and so we thought we'd bring out the Duplos again. In our dramatic play area, we will have our flower market, and I actually have a couple of signs and some note paper that go with this area, and the link to those, it's a freebie, and that link is in the resource page. And for our sensory bin, again, we can't use anything like sand or water or rice. So we've been kind of being creative and mostly just putting big pieces in there. And last week, the children had the most fun taking our blocks and laying them across the top of the sensory bin, and then they were creating different structures on top. So that is how we have our classroom set up for the gardening theme, and these are all the activities that we're going to be doing. I will come back again next week to share snippets of what we did and let you know if I'm going to add anything. And make sure to stay here, because I have some snippets at the end of this video that highlight what we did last week. So I will talk to you again soon. Thanks for watching.